Welcome. This presentation will cover psychological aspects in the training and performance of team handball athletes. If you are like me, you may be asking, exactly what is handball? This chapter defines and gives a short history of handball to clarify for those who are unfamiliar with the sport. Handball is the second most popular team sport played worldwide. Although it is not primarily an American sport, it is very popular in and around Europe. Handball originated in the beginning of ball games in Greece and Rome. It developed over time to create the game that it is today. The sport resembles soccer, but uses hands and other techniques that set handball apart from soccer. Handball also resembles many other sports like basketball or field hockey, but it is its own sport and has its own originality. Handball was originally an outside sport until slow progressions moved it inside. Each position of a team of handball players is different. Each position holds its own role and has its own techniques. 12 players are always on the court, 6 from each team. The offensive players' positions are center back, left back, right back, left wing, right wing, and the circle runner. I know, that's a lot. For defense, offensive players stay in position, but transfer into defense mode. For these games, many players play different positions all the time. They are transferring back and forth several times throughout the game, and sometimes will play more than up to 4 positions a game. There are many physical demands of team handball. It is a very physical sport and uses body checking on very commonly. A goalkeeper must have high pain tolerance due to blocking the ball in a body-sacrificing manner. Many dives are made, and many flips and stretches are made to keep the ball from going into the net. Body checking is commonly used, causing high risk of injury to the players. The players have always had trouble with ankle injuries, shoulder injuries, and back injuries as a main injury. Players dive and use their entire body to attempt scoring. In an article found, different physical effects on positions in female handball players. Physical effects on handball players may differ between position to position. Each position holds its own risk and a different physical demand. Some positions hold risk for more injuries than others, such as the goalie. The goalie is the one that is diving and throwing themselves onto the floor or towards the goalpost to block the balls from going in the net. Also, the speed velocity of the ball can reach up to 70 miles an hour, so that causes bodily wounds as well, and much bruising. Physical effects also in turn cause psychological effects while playing and training for handball matches. Training can sometimes be just as physically demanding for these players, and it shows that their dedication to the sport and to their position is high. Just like several sports, there are many psychological demands of team handball. One of the demands is motivation and will. It takes motivation to get on the court every day and sacrifice your body. Many positions hold different injury risk. Another one would be to refine their techniques and to reach a high level. Rising above average causes more training and more dedication to the sport. Court sense is important because it causes the players to think on the fly, and they're dealing with non-stop movement. They have to learn how to read and react, and they also have to match their playing with the physical demands of the sport. When crunch time comes, they have to know what to do and how to handle the situation. There are time constraints in this game. Each half is 30 minutes, and they have to learn how to effectively use that time. Response time is also very important and correlates with court sense. Players must constantly think of plays and adjust to the environment. You must mentally stay in the game constantly, and it also requires them to not emotionally attach to the game to where plays are argued. On the court, a player must learn to be flexible. In learning and playing different positions, there is no set position in handball. It is also causing them to adjust mindset from offense to defense and being flexible with bad calls or even good calls that go towards their team. Accountability keeps teammates on task, and you're supporting teammates' good or bad situations, making sure that the player is personally doing the best for the team that they can. Self-discipline is also knowing what is required and fulfilling those duties whether someone says to or not, having good work habits and tested under pressure where they pass. One of the biggest psychological demands of handball is pain tolerance. They are in a contact and collision sport with little to no protection. They have to come out every game expecting it to be painful. This article is about the psychology of the goalkeeper. It looks at the psychological demands of goalkeepers and what it takes to be successful in a high-stress position in handball. If you see in the picture, the goalie uses its entire body to sacrifice itself to keep the ball from going into the goal. This position causes stress because they are constantly thinking about having to sacrifice their body. Psychology of handball training in preseason. It is important to create and communicate the team philosophy early on before the season begins, so that way those standards are set early on and can be related back to in time. It is important to establish team norms because as the team continues and sets their standards, they are able to follow these standards as time goes on. Structure needs to be set because if not, the team will slip and do things that aren't supposed to be done. It is important to be disciplined as well. Discipline is when nobody's looking and they are doing the things that they're supposed to be doing in turn of the structure. Reward. It can be easy to get down in this time of a season because you are playing constantly but not competing, and not competing to win. You're really working on yourself to get ready for season, so sometimes it's difficult to find that reward in what you're doing. It is important to set individual and team goals because once you set these goals, you may work towards them as season comes along. Psychology in the training environment. Habit-forming behavior is important because it can go either good or bad. You can create bad habits by shortcutting things like running a shorter distance or running a shorter time, or even throwing the ball less hard than you usually do, or creating shortcuts to techniques. It is important to create those good habits for season so that when time comes, it is easier to do them correctly. It is important to balance your time in training because if you overtrain, then your body becomes tired and weak and not able to continue for the rest of the season. But if you train too less, then your body will still not be ready for season. It is important to use stimulation training and overstimulation training so that your body and the team can get used to intense pressure situations in the game-like situational practice. Pre-competition psychological preparation is in between the 24 hours that is before a game. It is important to have positive mood behaviors. It is important not to find yourself alone, because if you find yourself alone, you begin to think of what you haven't done in the past week or what you have done to prepare for the game. Because if you dwell on things too much, then it can cause mental breakdown. You must have the desire to compete. The desire to compete is really important because if you don't, you will be dreading the competition. It is important to have that desire so that you are able to prep yourself for the competition itself. Social activity and distractions are great. Surrounding yourself with family and with friends that are teammates, that you can distract yourself from what is coming ahead so that you do not dwell on what is going to happen. It is important not to distract yourself with new information or little information that you have about the competition or the team that you're going to play against. Adding new information causes stress levels that are higher than normal. It is match time. All that was done in preparation and preseason, training time, and pre-competition preparation, it is now time to put all of the hard work to use. In this time, handball players are now able to use their skills towards their advantage when playing competition. There are post-match considerations to be made. At the end of a match, players may be emotional and vulnerable. It is important to have procedure, such as shaking hands or high-fiving at the end of a game. It is also important to have team and family interaction. It is also important to recognize media as well. Here are the references to the articles that I have found.